The film begins with two close friends, Derek and Clif, as they make a life-changing decision to set out on a year-long journey around the world. Clif is a filmmaker and documentarian. He explains that the entire trip will be filmed and uploaded online as a travel blog titled Ends of the Earth.
For Clif, this journey is both an adventure and a creative project, a chance to capture real experiences and turn them into a story worth sharing. For Derek, the trip carries far deeper meaning. He has recently been diagnosed with a serious condition called AVM, a dangerous tangle of blood vessels in his brain. If it ruptures, it could be fatal without warning. The diagnosis turns Derek's world upside down, forcing him to confront his own mortality much sooner than expected. Derek's brother is strongly against the trip, believing Derek should avoid unnecessary risks. But Derek refuses to let fear control his life. Holding on to one powerful wish, he wants to see the world while he still can. With cameras rolling and uncertainty hanging over them, Derek and Clif begin their journey, unaware that this trip will soon transform from a simple travel blog into something far more intense and personal. As the trip begins, Derek and Clif arrive in Barcelona, Spain, where they reunite with their old friends Edo and Zach, band members touring from Alaska. The group spends their days exploring the city, drinking, and enjoying life on the road, all of it captured by Clif's camera. Their journey then takes them to Paris, France, where Edo and Zach perform at a bar. The night is loud and crowded, filled with music and celebration. While at the bar, Derek meets a woman named Audrey, and the two quickly hit it off. Before the night ends, Derek leaves with her and heads back to his hotel room while Clif, Edo, and Zach stay behind. Later that night, the three decide to surprise Derek and burst into his hotel room as a prank. Instead, they find him bleeding and barely conscious, with Audrey nowhere in sight. Derek has no memory of what happened. Assuming Audrey attacked him with the intention of robbing him, they try to piece together the situation. Despite his condition, Derek refuses to go to the hospital, fearing that doctors will detain him because of his AVM. With no clear answers, Derek and Clif say goodbye to Edo and Zach and continue the journey on their own, unaware that this moment has already set everything in motion. After arriving in Italy, Derek passes out and sleeps for almost an entire day. When he finally wakes up, he and Clif go to a restaurant, but after taking just one bite of food, Derek violently throws up. Back in their room, Clif urges him to go to the hospital, but Derek refuses. He does not want medical attention, and he refuses to let the trip end. The following day, during a vineyard tour, Derek has an extreme reaction to sunlight. His skin burns, and he panics, running indoors in pain. Both he and Clif are left stunned, unable to understand what is happening. Later at the hotel, Clif tries to calm Derek and suggests going home. Derek snaps and punches straight through a solid stone wall with ease. In the days that follow, Clif records as Derek displays unnatural strength, breaking stone and lifting cars and running at an incredible speed. While heading back to the hotel, Derek suddenly feels intense pain in his eye and frantically removes his contact lenses. Almost immediately, his eyes begin to change, confirming that a transformation has already started inside his body. Clif secretly records Derek as he tries to eat, only to throw up again. It becomes clear that Derek can no longer keep normal food down. Growing more concerned, Clif video chats with Derek's brother, who asks why Derek has been ignoring his emails. Clif struggles to explain, hiding how serious the situation has become. Clif once again urges Derek to go to the hospital, but Derek insists he is fine. To prove it, he jumps to an impossible height with ease. Derek climbs even higher and leaps down. Only then does Derek finally agree that something is seriously wrong and accepts that they need to go to a hospital. On the way to the hospital, Derek and Clif are nearly hit by a car. The close call turns violent when Derek confronts the furious driver and passenger. In seconds, the fight escalates, and Derek easily overpowers them. As Clif watches in shock, Derek instinctively licks the blood from his own hand. This moment changes everything. Clif begins to piece it together and concludes that Derek has contracted vampirism. Searching online for answers leads nowhere, but both of them come to the same realization. The transformation must have started the night Derek met Audrey. Desperate to find a solution, Derek first tries drinking cow blood from a butcher, but vomits immediately. He then kills a piglet and drinks its blood, only to have the same reaction. It becomes clear that animal blood is not enough. Derek needs human blood to survive. In a final act of desperation, Derek and Clif attempt to rob an ambulance for blood supplies.
The plan spirals out of control, and Derek nearly kills the injured patient inside. Horrified by how far things have gone, they flee, fully aware that Derek is losing control, and that the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. That night, Derek enters a catatonic state. His body begins to convulse violently, foam spilling from his mouth as he loses consciousness.
For nearly 11 hours, he remains unresponsive. Dark veins spread across his body, and the only thing that triggers any reaction is the sight and smell of blood. With no other option left, Clif makes a desperate decision and cuts his own arm, hoping to keep Derek alive by giving him blood. But before he can help, Derek suddenly escapes.
Clif searches frantically and eventually finds him. When he tries once more to offer his blood, Derek, now completely inhuman and acting on pure instinct, kills Clif. Moments later, Derek regains his senses and realizes what he has done. Overwhelmed by guilt and horror, he takes a shotgun and shoots himself in the head. Instead of dying, his head regenerates, healing almost instantly and leaving behind only slight scarring, confirming that even death may no longer be an escape for him. Derek decides to search for Audrey, believing everything began with her. He hopes she might have the answers, or possibly a cure for what he is becoming, so he decides to head back to Paris. Before he can leave, Interpol agents track Derek down for the stolen ambulance and move in to arrest him. With no way out, Derek is forced to escape. He grabs Clif's camera bag and leaps into direct sunlight, burning as he runs, using the pain to put distance between himself and the agents. Injured but free, Derek disappears. As he reaches Paris, Derek hides inside an abandoned warehouse while Interpol issues arrest warrants in his and Clif's names. Alone and hunted, he reviews the footage of his encounter with Audrey and realizes her phone might still be at the hotel where she attacked him. Derek manages to retrieve the phone, but on his way out, he unexpectedly runs into his brother. Both are shocked. Police arrive almost immediately, forcing Derek to flee across the rooftops. During the escape, he accidentally kills a police officer, making his situation even worse. Returning to the warehouse, Derek goes through Audrey's phone and messages every contact in her list, hoping someone will respond. Eventually, a man named Maurice agrees to meet. Derek follows him from a distance, tailing him to a filthy, rundown building, convinced he is finally getting closer to the truth. Inside Maurice's apartment, Derek discovers a blood-stained saw and an old black and white photograph of Audrey, confirming a past connection. Maurice suddenly attacks Derek from behind, but Derek quickly overpowers him and ties him up. Maurice admits he knows Audrey and resents her deeply. She left him human, yet chose to turn Derek into a vampire. Using Maurice as bait, Derek sets up a live stream with him restrained, hoping Audrey will see it and come out of hiding. Instead, tactical forces storm the apartment. Derek is shot repeatedly and pushed to the brink of death. In response, he enters a frenzied state, wipes out the entire squad in an extremely violent rampage, and escapes, leaving the apartment in ruins and the hunt for Audrey more desperate than ever. Audrey eventually tracks Derek down at the abandoned building and attacks him. During their fight, she reveals the truth. There is no cure for vampirism. If one existed, she would have used it on herself long ago, and explains that to remain in control, he must feed every 4 to 5 days. If he does not, he will lose his humanity again and become something that kills without reason every day. She admits she chose Derek because he was already dying and believed turning him was an act of mercy. After the encounter, Derek records and uploads one final message online. He explains that he can never contact his family again, and that his old life is truly over. In the final footage, Derek films himself feeding on a man after discovering abusing videos on the man's phone, suggesting that Derek has decided to survive by choosing who he feeds on. In the post-credits scene, a teenage boy and 2 teenage girls sneak into a swimming pool in Italy late at night. Without warning, they are attacked. The boy manages to escape, but moments later he comes across the bloodied body of one of the girls. Before he can process what he is seeing, Clif, now revealed to be a vampire, appears and attacks him, making it clear that the nightmare is far from over. And that's how this story ends. Or does it? If you enjoyed this recap, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until then, stay out of the darkness.